Hello and welcome to the mini and to the innie. Today, what we're gonna talk about a little bit and maybe have a better understanding or redesign on our own thoughts of is church. Something that is always synonymous, rightfully so. Okay, I can't stress that enough. Rightfully so. Synonymous with God, Jesus, Christians, all the above is church. And today we're going to go into the major differences within what church is and the better understandings of the two. For that, we'll break it down into the church, the big C, and the church, the little c. But before we get into that, one of the things I want you to understand, and I know this part is forgotten by so many, is the church was not founded for the perfect person. The church, quite simply, the building, is a place for broken people, not for breaking people. I'll say that again. The church is a place for broken people, not for breaking people. So let's get into that a little more. And with that being said, the most important iteration of the church, or let me make it a little simpler, the most important meaning of church, the church, the big C. So if you were to write this out, it'd have a capital, the capitalization of. This is probably the biggest misconception that we have, is that every time we talk about the church, we talk about a building, 4 walls and a roof, or depending on where you go, giant cathedrals with stained glass windows and steeples and spires and you know giant auditoriums with light shows and whatever else. No. The church, the big C, is and will forever be the people. The people of Christ. The wife of the bridegroom is the church. So the people. Anyone who's baptized, that's you, me, everybody. That is the church. It's so important to drive that fact home. The church is the people. Without the people, it is not really the church. It might just be a building. Many churches, many buildings have shut down, and then some other company comes in, they just use it. It's not a church anymore. It's another building. It's an office building. It's this, that. So without the people, the church is nothing. And I know when we think about church, there's a lot of negative associations that we have, a lot of negative feelings that get drawn up, and we flash back to when we were a kid, a preteen, a teen, a young adult, an adult, a middle-aged adult, an older adult, wherever. We have a flashback that just does not sit right with us. I think in my opinion, I could be wrong, but here's my opinion, right? It's because at some point someone forgot the fact that the church is the people itself. The church is the people itself. Okay, so what does that mean? The church, the little c. We'll dive into that real quick, and then we'll bring it together. The church LLC is the building itself. Now, don't get me wrong. It is not meant to demean or degrade or anything. It just has a different value, a different want, a different set of needs. The building itself has a different set of needs. When the church, the people in the church, the building come together into one, it's amazing. It's great. But it still has to be remembered. The church itself is the people. The building just happens to also be called the church at the same time. Yeah, it gets a little confusing. It still has importance. It still needs respect. The church, the building still has importance and still needs respect. It is sad to say that, places of, I mean, I don't think there's really a sacred place anymore in terms of there's never a bad thing that's going to happen. Schools, sporting events, government establishments, churches, they always have something negative's happening around, whether it's people coming in and doing donuts or stealing stuff from it or what. As sad as it sounds, it's because we forgot that all things deserve a level of respect. And respect is simply giving something, or more importantly, someone, the great honor of being seen as valued. Now, maybe that's where our issues came. That instead of giving respect, the old school, you got to give respect to get respect. Maybe we just all of a sudden started to assume. But this is what, me being the small part of the church, I want you to know is that you are valued. Not by a little peon like me, but the church, it needs to remember that, it needs to value the people. Because when you start seeing the value in people, oh man, you start feeling valued. And when you start feeling valued, you start acting valued. And when you start acting valued, you treat other things as valued. So you feel respected because you've been respected, and now you give the respect that other things are deserving. I want to break down this very easy, common misconception. And this isn't just by the people who are unchurched. Let's break into that real quick. There's a whole set of the word church being thrown around everywhere. I'm going to go to church. This is the church. I am unchurched. What do all those things mean? Well, I'm going to go to church. Maybe they mean they're going to go to a church service or a mass. Or this is the church. Maybe they mean this is the building. Or I am unchurched, or they are unchurched. Maybe it means they just haven't been taught in the ways of Christianity. Now, isn't that funny how they're unchurched, but we automatically assume they haven't been taught in the ways of Christianity, not they haven't been taught in the ways of the building. Here's the front door, the side door, and the exit. The water fountains are there, the bathrooms are. No. We make all these chump assumptions. What if all of the times where we go, oh, I don't want to go to church because we took it down just a little more. And we stopped saying, the building, I hate the building because of the colors or the sounds or whatever. And we start to realize, oh wait, my friends will be there. Or oh wait, they might take me in and value me. Now don't get me wrong, don't get me twisted. I, I have to be blunt and honest with you, and I have to be fair with you, right? As someone who maybe I'm the person in the front lines for you. You might go in, and I want you to be, I want you to be aware. Don't expect anything, but you might go in, and they might celebrate you. Might be excited to see you. Might, or maybe you'll go in, and you'll get the side eye. You'll get the brush off. You'll get the, what are you doing here? Who let you in? Are you sure you're in the right space? I know it will be painful. I felt it. It's very lonely. And you would think that you'd go in and these are people who are excited to help you on that journey. I know. I hope that there's enough people within these communities that are already established pushing for you. For a long time, I've been fighting that fight. I'm still doing it to this day. I hope that maybe you'd be willing to get yourself in there, take the bumps and the bruises. Because someone, I think that's what it is. Someone needs to take the bumps and the bruises so that when people like you come in, they meet someone like you. Someone who, as I call back, are ready to respect them and give the respect first. Someone who, when they come in, they simply see them as someone worth the honor of being seen as valued, as valuable, because that is what God says about us. That's what Jesus said about us. He says, I see you as valued and valuable, not the baggage or anything else, or the oopsie daisies or the big mistakes or the great sins we've made. Nothing about that. Usually those things come to pass farther down our walk. First, we have to remember that God sees us all as valued, valuable, and he calls his children. He calls his church, his anointed people, to see others the same way, especially their own brothers and sisters, especially the ones who are coming to the table ready to receive. So one of the things I want you to remember as I wrap this up, and it's my final note, is the church is meant to be a hospital for the broken or hurt, for those fighting, for those who are fighting for a greater world, fighting to reduce anxiety of their own selves or others, for those who have encountered loss, heartbreak, or despair, for those who are so grateful to be alive, and for those who might not feel so grateful. The church is meant for those people. It's meant to bring them in, hold them. I'll tell you something, it's not. It's not a museum for the perfect or the righteous, to be put on display and held up on a perfect little pet. That's not. Only one person, and this comes from my Catholic background, only one person gets put on display and held up in esteem. That is the founder of the Catholic Church, that is Jesus Christ. Only person who is allowed to be put on that pedestal. Now, if other people start looking down on you, it's not you. Quite simply, it's not you. We must continue to fight the good fight, as St. Paul said. And we'll get into scripture and everything else like that, or the Bible verses, also known as scripture. But for today, I just wanted to touch on that. Is the church, because that is the part that will, I think, in my opinion, will get in most of our ways. And I hate to be someone that you might not want to hear it from, but I'm willing to say is we all need that church community, the community of fellow believers who can hold us up and push us forward, that we can come together and worship who God is, what Christ has done. All right. So that's all I have for you for today. Until next time, take care.